I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing like my perspective or something, but I feel like all my hair is changing colors now. I feel like it's I don't know. I went in to look in the mirror this morning to get ready, and I was like, oh my gosh, is my whole hair turning a different color? Like it's turning more, I don't know. I don't know, but anyways, I can't get over how now, how I look at like, 'cause every time I see someone that's got all this gray hair, I used to think, oh, that's so pretty. And I look at it as like, oh my God, they're dying and they don't even know. God, they've got to start taking copper. Like, your whole attitude changes. I think, feel out of it. Like it's night has been weird, but I'm just like, I'm so over so many of these things. It's just like, okay, it's just the way it is. It's just weird. But yesterday there was, oh yeah, because there was something that I had wanted to say yesterday morning, and I had forgot to say it. And so I kept trying to think what it was, and then it popped up into my head. And so I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. And so then I ended up, it was like all day, I kept writing these things like, oh, I gotta talk about these, I gotta talk about these. So I like this whole list of stuff. I was gonna go, because the thing I had forgotten to talk about was, you know, when I was saying about, I think it's weird how there's so many migrants or whatever you want to call them, all these people coming here, like so many. And like, why would all these people just leave their houses and stuff? It doesn't make any sense. And so this person was, their friend lives in Venezuela, and I think their friend is American. And so they said that over there where they live, that all day long people go around knocking on people's doors and telling them to come over here, giving them money, giving them car, or not even a car. They give them a whole bunch of things, and they give them, it's like a whole set thing. So when you get there, you know, you go here. So you get it all set up. They go door to door and tell them they're going to have this way better life. They got to go over there. That's what I had been saying. I was saying there's something else going on. These people are not just getting up in the morning and going, hey, let's leave our home and walk 1,000 miles and go somewhere else. And then it still is like, so is this, whoever it is, whichever side it is trying to do it, if it is an honest side that's trying to evacuate people because they know about what's going on, or if it's a side that's like the churches and they're going around and ministering to people to come so that they can create chaos here or something. But the whole thing is it just will always backfire. It will always backfire. Not always. Now, because of the energy turning, now it will backfire. But before, things would go okay for him, you know, well enough that we didn't pay enough attention. That we all just like went around our merry business trying to work. And it showed me some visual the other day, and it was it's hard to explain, but it was just, you could see so much. It's just so programmed, so much programmed, just following along, not even questioning things and thinking about things. Oh, I saw this woman, and I don't know about this. She said there's 3 types of souls. There's an earth soul, there's a starseed soul, and there's an angelic soul. And that the earth souls, they're always here going through this schooling, and this is how they learn to evolve. And then there's other ones from different places. But see, I don't because anybody can come here. Like, it's just as like, because the way I see it is kind of like anyone can come here. They're all over the place, all these different places. It seems like that this kind of got it into a trap or something, where it was just going heavy into a certain um energy. And that is when, like, the call was put out or whatever. It's not like God put out a megaphone, hey, anybody can come over here and help, Earth's struggling. It's not like that. It's an energetic thing. It's like your soul would feel it. Your soul would know. Just like how I said that time in that one experience I had. And they took me through this, it's like a portal thing, I guess, because I knew where, when I was in there, that could go flying out but it was like a tornado of record lines. I don't know how to explain it. But so I was in there and it was going fast, but I also didn't feel like I was moving. And so it was going, and then I could see all these different realities, and I knew I was going to come out into a reality. I didn't know where. I didn't know what they were showing me. And so when I came out into the reality that the one, it was like I could see, it was like a ride. It was like shown to me like it was a ride, like it was a roller coaster ride. And from far away, I could only just like start hearing it, but I could feel it all inside of me. Every sound that had happened, I could feel it inside of me. And so I was going closer and closer. As I got closer to the ride, I could see, and it was all complete space. Everything was just black space except for this ride that was up ahead. And as I would get closer to it, I could see, or I could sense that it was just showing me the cycles of life, how the cycles just go. And because I could hear the emotions, the people, and they would all be screaming, and then they would all be laughing, and then they would all be happy, then they would all be sad. And it was just this cycles going through, but I could feel it inside of me. And that is what I think is more of like the call went out. It's like, you know, like if you stub your toe is calling out to the rest of your body that it's hurt. And so it's kind of like in the universe, because you gotta think micro, macro on stuff, that the microwave, when the microwave's feeling pain, when the whatever the hell I was gonna say, it wasn't microwave, when the environment is feeling pain, when the reality is feeling pain, then the souls that extend out can feel the pain from the source of where the pain is coming from. So, and, you know, there's other things too, like in the QHHTs and stuff like that, where there's, like there's people who are in other places, just like that one that Allison Coe just did the other couple months ago or weeks ago or something. And the lady was talking about, she was here and she was going through these lives and she felt stuck, and then she wanted to go back home and talk to her people and stuff, and how they just thought it was funny, and that she's just like in this game, and that she thinks she's been gone a long time, and because time is an illusion. And so she but in the thing, how it was being like, so there's all sorts of people, like this is one family, and so she's coming here, and then they aren't coming there. And I've heard from a lot of different, that, you know, that when people are from like other places, they came from other places to come for this ascension time, that they left people who, like, there's whole groups of people, whole planets, whole places of realities where it's all just pure love and light, but the people have never gone through trauma. They've never gone through anything hard. And so that is what the purpose, like Earth, in any lower dimensional, like we're always talking about Earth like it's the only one, but there's like all sorts of different places. Just like when they took me, it was like a record. Like there's all these realities just stacked on top of each other. And And like the CIA files, it says like you're in a reality, but all the realities are like touching and there's bleed through. And I'm telling you, it all depends on where you focus. And your focus has to do with if it's about love or if it's about fear and division. If it's about trust and love or fear and division. And so kind of like, to be able to come in to an incarnation and come in and go through the challenges and still be able to teach about how to find love, like, man, that is pretty challenging, as that is hard, because there's a lot of different ones that they don't want to come because it's hard. And so I've heard of lots of people who go into meditation and talk to their people, like, and I always feel like I'm doing talking and updating and stuff. It's like nonstop talking. And so if they so there's lots of souls that don't come in to do this stuff because they would rather, or something to do with like karmic debt, because here you can create karmic debt. If you're up in a place that's just happy and everybody's happy and everybody just loves each other and nobody is sitting there trying to, nobody's going through all these traumas, going through all this hardship and pain, and it evolves us, it teaches us, it gives us more understanding, and it is almost like, we become teachers for more advanced beings because of going through the challenges, like the wartime, and I don't know of all the different ones because there's so many possibilities of incarnations on Earth. But right now, during this time is very significant. So there's a lot of different people that came, but it's like a lot of challenges, but then there's all different kinds of roles to play too. Like there's every kind of opportunity. Like I said, like everything was going to be playing out. Some of the stuff playing out is just so wild. It's just like, oh my God, this apartments. Did I finish saying that one about, oh yeah, because it was about the people who are going door to door. I knew something was up. And they're going door to door and they're making all these offers. And she said it's all day long. They just go all day long, these people, constantly going door to door, trying to talk people into going, setting it all up. So I don't know what all's going on, but I know something's shady. But I still think it seems like there's some sort of evacuation happening, it seems like to me. But then the weird stuff, like, what was I going to say? Because I keep being pulled to something else. But I hate skipping around so much. So, well, I guess that's just what I have to do. Because oh yeah, okay. So seeing all these different things. So one of the things, I think it's in Chicago, these apartments, and they're not fancy apartments. It's a very small complex, and the owners, I don't know, they've been fighting with the city and fighting with their tenants or something, and then their tenants have been paying, but the owners are fighting with the city about something, so they just decided they were just going to close their apartments down. They didn't want to be bothered anymore. They were fed up, so they're just going to close them down. So they hired some guys to come, bring in boards and that fit the windows and the doors, and then to go in and knock the doorknobs off and then seal the apartments. So just close the apartments off, just board them up all over the place, and take all the doorknobs off and stuff so that you can get this board nice and flat and get it in there really tight. And they did that, but the people were in their apartments. Yeah, this 90-year-old lady who's bedridden, a 75-year-old man who's bedridden and stuff. They're just locking them in their apartments. I'm like, and the only reason they even got caught is because some good citizens were out there in the parking lot freaking the fuck out because they knew the people are in there living. I mean, one woman's in there with her kids, a single mom with her kids, and these owners of these apartments just say, seal them up, like create a tomb, seal them up, who cares? And so, like I said, like everything that can play out will be playing out, like the weirdest shit. And I said there was going to be crazy miracles too. So the Alaskan flight, and I just saw a video too of another girl who was talking about being on the flight, and she was up front. And she said that when it happened, it was like right after the plane had taken off. And she had a weird synchronicity because she was sitting in the airport reading some book. And then it was like a biography or something about somebody or something. And they died in a plane crash. And it was when she got to that chapter in the book, she was like, oh, this is too dark. Like, I can't read this right now. She's going to go get on a plane. So she goes and gets on this plane. And then they just heard, they said that they heard a lot of noise and it was like shaking and stuff, but they couldn't see because as soon as it happened, everybody's oxygen masks fell down. So it was, but she said everybody was super, super calm. Everybody knew something was up, as you could feel it. She said it was, but they thought like maybe a whole wing had fallen off or the engine or something. Like they didn't have any idea what was going on. And they were just trying to keep themselves calm because they were all worried they were going to die. And then the plane turned around and landed. And then they started finding out what had happened. And at first, when they were seeing a window had blown out, but then the people were like, no, it was the whole door. And so the whole door blew off. And those 2 seats were empty right by that door. And luckily, too, this woman was holding her baby. Like, because as soon as it blew, everybody's phones blew out the door. Like everybody who was holding their phones just sucked their phones right out. Would have sucked that woman's baby out. Like what a traumatic, oh my God. Oh my God. But so this, the 2 seats that were empty ends up that those people missed their flights. And the girl who had read the book, once she closed the, and was sitting on the plane, and once the stuff went down, she was like, there is no freaking way that I just read about a plane crash and now I'm going to go die in a plane crash. That's not happening. So to me, it's like, I know people like look at manifesting and stuff different. Like they look at it as like, oh, see, she did that. To me, it's like, she knows that. She knows that. It's inside of her. She knows that, no, I'm not going to die from this. No, and that would be so ridiculous too. But there would be other people who'd be like, of course, that was what they were trying to tell me. The book was trying to tell me I was about to die, and they would know inside themselves, and then they would. Like it's different. Like people have different things inside of them, but they don't realize. They think it's like they're always looking at it, like they're unaware of what's coming out, so they catch it up here, and then they say that they're doing it. It's like, no, you're doing it because that's what you're supposed to do. It's your internal vision. It's your internal guidance. And, but the 2 people who were supposed to be in those chairs missed the plane. And so it was just a miracle that they weren't on the plane and that they, but I said there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be miracles that are going to be going on through all of this stuff going. Because it will be for the people. Because the people have got to start realizing, like, you don't die. That this world is supernatural and stuff. And, the Miami thing, it's like one fucking video. Oh, there's so many. And now there's a lot of people coming out who were there. And all of them keep having the same stories. And there's more than one talking about the box that the boys had. And it was doing this color and stuff was coming out of it, and then these creatures started coming out of it. And some people are saying that these creatures were more like 12 foot tall. And then I saw some guys saying, oh no, it was just like barely over 6 foot. I think it was like kept changing sizes. It doesn't have the same form, like how we carry a form around that we can weigh and measure and stuff. Going through that kind of like on their own planet, wherever they exist in their reality, that they would hold some type of form, some kind of thing that you would see, that you would recognize as them. Them coming into other dimensions, they can't hold their form the same. And but they didn't have the hands or feet or whatever. They just floated around. And then plus there's something coming leaking out on the police scanner too. And this one guy, he got his dad on the phone, who's one of the cops, and he said that they're not allowed to talk about it. And then all these different people showing all this footage in Florida. And there was this whole spaceship weird thing that happened that night. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in Florida. Like they just had a big old fucking tornado last night. Who knows what's going on there today? I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff in Florida. Like, are they really trying to wake up Miami? Like, as I know, Miami, I heard, is really shallow and really, just like all Gucci, just thinks in that kind of way. Everything's super shallow. But I don't know. Like, it seems extreme to put that much effort into waking up one city. It seems like, to me, how much stuff is being talked about with Miami and stuff. I start thinking, this seems like it's a setup. Like they are trying to wake people up. Like, I have no idea still. There's something strange. Like, how did these boys get a portal box? Like, I know there's this one guy who created a portal in his house, and he uses all with frequency and stuff. And so I don't know. These guys, I guess, could have watched him and then gone, hey, we could do that. It still seems to me like the same way as how you got these guys that go and, go rough up the school or the mall or the movie or the grocery store or whatever. And they just have all this extreme amount of weapons and ammo and all that stuff. And to where it's like, well, where'd they get all this expensive stuff? One guy even had an expensive truck and stuff, where it's like, okay, so somebody's funding this. And that's what I was thinking too with this, which it kind of just collides with me with, how I said back here, how when you go walking back, like if you went walking back from the development, there's like these roads back there where I started being like, these are like old roads. This is back where people lived before. And then, but you go back there walking, and you can go walking around back in the woods and stuff. And then there's trails that go off of these little tiny street road things. Because it's just like a wider trail in the mountain thing, but you feel safer when you're walking through the little ones. And then, but when you're walking back there, you get to this one part that's this big dugout part. What I don't know why it's dug out like that. And then you go down in there, and it's Stella always wants to go down in there, and it's all full of beer cans and bullet casing or whatever those things are called. Those long things, the red and blue right there. And then, but they're all over the place. And so, and I was like, oh my gosh, these guys just come back here and shoot and shoot. So I've heard them doing that a few times. But the other day, or last week or something, when I heard them, and it was like all day long, and it was like night, and it was still going, and there kept being explosions and stuff, and there was something happening, like I was hearing explosions, I would feel the ground shaking and stuff, and I started thinking, if that is some teenage boys back there doing that, like, I don't know, how would they afford that, to be able to go buy all those, because from what I understand, they're expensive. Maybe you can shoot them off like with nothing in them, and then it makes the same noise. I don't know that much about it, but I was thinking at the time that like there's these instigators, psyop people, men in black, like these people who go around creating the instigation, just like how you got these people going door to door in Venezuela, which it's all in all these other places too. And they're going door to door, setting up, getting people to move and whatnot. So then, but I think that they do these things, these distractions or something, to make all this noise when they're doing something, like something else is going on. So they'll distract from it. And so I was thinking, they can easily find kids to do this stuff. Like, I can't believe, like, the one group right now that's fracturing, I guess, is the makeup group, which it's so weird. All their videos, like video after video, I don't even know where you get onto these things, where all of a sudden I'm getting all these videos. It's like, how did I get here? But so all these videos, all these girls, and they all just sit and put on their makeup and talk about it. And they've got, that's why it's like, man, you listen to some of these stories, it's like, oh my God, you see, it's like highlight, dark light, then put some of that and then go back, do more. It's like this whole thing of so many different highlights, and it is a lot. And then, but they're all talking about Sephora and Ulta and the 10-year-old girls. And it's wild to see these girls that are like, I don't know, 19, 20. I think some of them are 25, 26. They're all young, and talking about these other young girls. And because they just can't even believe it. They can't believe how rude these kids are. They can't believe, and now they're even calling them the iPad kids. So they're saying these are the iPad kids. And these iPad kids, they don't know how to behave. They talk down to their parents, and they all want these. They're so influenced by the influencers. So you got all these influencers out who are pushing on these products, because that's what they do. An influencer is just a person who got popular doing something. I don't know, changing clothes a lot of times. It seems like a lot of them just put on different outfits and then call themselves a model. And so they, whatever, they create this thing to get all these people to go in and look at their videos so that they can become an influencer. So that influencer just gets paid by sponsoring products. And there's no fucking way they're using all these products. It's like, it's just, you're a paid sponsor. You're just a salesperson. That's all you are. You're just a salesperson. You're nothing more than somebody who stands up there at a car show and does this. Those girls, they're just nice, just doing this. That's all you are. And you're influencing 10-year-olds. And I don't know, the whole thing's going to blow up. Like, I mean, it is blowing up. Like, listen to these people talk about it and stuff, and how these parents are also passive and do whatever. And these girls are going in and buying like retinol. They're going in and buying all these harsh chemicals. They're buying something that's really expensive, but it's got a cute name, Drunk Elephant. So it's some kind of products called Drunk Elephant. All these girls are so expensive, and all these kids that go in there and they go through the products, they're messing with it, like they have no respect for anything. They mess stuff up, they open stuff up to try it, and the parents are all just standing around passive. And apparently they've taken over Sephora and Ulta, and they want all these products that these influencers say, and they got to have them. They will argue, have big fits, they don't give a shit. They will have a major fit inside of a store. They'll start yelling at their parents. Like the stories and stories and stories that these girls keep talking about. And this is young girls. And they're so outraged. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's funny to hear. But that was, you know, and I don't know where it's going to go. I think, you know, they're going to have to start questioning themselves. Like everybody's got to question themselves. That's what everything is fucking happening for. When things are happening in your life, it's to raise questions. It's to raise awareness. It's to get you to start thinking in a different direction. So you're like, oh, huh. So it's everything is around you to get you to think in other directions, to open your mind, to think broader, to be bigger. And so anyways, I know that the makeup thing and all that stuff is going to fall apart. I mean, I've just seen so many videos of how toxic makeup is, and how it is a hormone, creates hormone. It's like tons of stuff. And then you've got these parents, because they all work and nobody's at home with their kids, so they all feel guilty. Their kids have no emotional maturity. They don't have any abilities to self-regulate, and they need this constant satisfaction. They don't know how to, it's like they need these certain needs. Like it's like having an itch and they need it scratched or something, and they don't have control over their impulses, like, if you get what I'm saying. So everything that they want, they feel like they need, or it's like too much, like, and somebody, like their parent, isn't giving them what they want and need. So then they have a fit and have a big ordeal. This one girl was talking about this girl came in and she said she was helping this girl, And she said she was like 9 or 10 years old. She had her whole cart full. She had perfumes in the back being held. So she starts ringing this girl up, and she's thinking, where's this girl's mom? Her cart's totally full. And her first perfume, so the perfumes that she had on hold, she wanted to rung up first, came to 300. And then she said, okay, get the rest. And so she wanted these expensive perfumes. Like, I don't know what these influencers, like, I just saw a thing too, and it said the most 3 popular influencers on TikTok. And it was 3 people I've never seen before in my life. I have no idea who they are. And I can't remember what their following amount is. The one, let's see, the one guy, because one of them was a guy and 2 of them were girls. And the guy got popular. I'm pretty sure all of them got popular off just dancing videos and clothes changing videos. Like I said, it's what their whole platform is look at what I look like in this outfit. Oh, what do you think of these shoes with this? Oh my God. You know what I did last night? Look at get dressed with me. Put on my makeup with me. Like this kind of stuff. That's why you got so many of these people all trying to match that formula. Oh, that's the formula that works. Well, we'll do it. The formula works for who it's supposed to work for. It's not a set formula that just, hey, everybody follow this formula and you get the perfect life. No, everybody has their own formula to lead them to their own destiny, their own desired yeah, it is their desired destiny because they're the ones who created it. So it's their desired destiny. So everybody's got their own. Not everybody shares the same destiny, but they all want to share it. Like, oh, well, they got theirs, so I'm going to do the same thing. So you got so many of these people who are trying to become influencers. But these 3, it said that they go, I saw this a couple weeks ago, so I don't know how accurate I could be. The guy, he charges, I think it was 600,000 for, it seemed like it was to show up at a party or to show up somewhere, or if you wanted him to push your products, you give him $600,000. And in the 2 girls, one of them, I think it was like 900,000 and one of them was like 800,000 or something. Both of them was like, all these people were like nearly $1 million. All their whole thing is like, I don't even know if you even talk to them, if they even know how to put words together. I don't know. But they, their whole platform, it just is pushing products. And then look at how much that they get paid to push these products. And then they go around like they're doing something good in the world, going to these black tie events and getting all dressed up. All you're doing is pushing products on little girls that are going and having fits in stores. It's embarrassing. And even these people that work in the makeup things keep saying to the influencers, like, could you guys come on? Like, do you realize who you're influencing here? It's like, ugh. Because there are other people who are old enough, they're all trying to be influencers themselves. They're not being influenced by you. You're influencing little tiny girls that are, haven't even reached puberty yet. And so, anyways, there's all that drama going on right now. There's like video after video after video. And somehow I'll just get on these like veins, like one day I'll just see all these videos and it's just one after another. This one has popped up a few different times. Like this one keeps going and going. And more and more people keep popping up. Oh, talking about the girls at Ulta. I'll tell you about my experience. I'll tell you what happened to me at Sephora. Oh, and so this girl who had the $300 worth of perfume, then she keeps having the girl ring up her stuff. And they're like at $600. And so then the little girl's like, hold on. And so she's like, I don't know. She sees that she's with a mom and another daughter. Then she sees the other daughter rings up all her cart. So this little girl is paying attention to what's going on with the mom and the daughter. The other girl, she rings up her cart. Her cart comes to 500. So the mom finishes with her, comes over. So this is another little girl, like 10, 11 years old. There's 2 little sisters after Christmas going in. She has to spend $500 at Ulta, which to me, I don't know. I'm just not into those kind of places. I've been to them. Like with my daughters, I've been into all those products and this, Sephora and Ulta are big on the product thing. It draws in a lot of females. And so I'm just not into that kind of thing. And even when I had gone before and bought products and stuff, I was like, man, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. It just seems like a racket, like a racket to make a lot of money or something. And it is. And so this girl, she goes over, the mom comes over to help with this one, and hers comes to 900. And the mom was like, no, you got to put something back. And the little girl's like, no, I'm not putting anything back. Sat here and arguing. She said the line was so long. And the little girl kept saying, no, she wasn't putting anything back. You're going to buy it. This is what I'm getting. And the mom kept saying, no, I'm not. And so finally she put one of the bottles of perfume on. And it went to like 800 or 700 or something. She finally got it down to 600, where the girl, and there was a lot of weird, awkward conversations. Like the sales girl goes, oh, well, did you know you have 3 of this one product? Do you want to put 2 of those back? And the girl was like, no, I know exactly what I have, and I have what I want. You know, and it was the girl's just like, sorry. Can you imagine this is a 10-year-old child talking like this to everybody? She's running the show. She's running the show. So it's just like, I mean, this is flipping. Who's in charge? We got Bert, what is Bart Simpson world? That's what we've got. I saw it coming. I knew that's where they were headed. I could see it for a long time ago. As soon as I saw that show, I mean, you can't go and watch Father Knows Best and Harriet and Ozzy and all those shows, and then go in and watch Bart Simpson and not see, like, what an agenda, what the tables are turning. And they just kept doing that. They brought in more of these doofus dads, and the kids are smarter than the parents all the time. That's been pushed on a few generations. So and then we get the side effects of it. 10-year-olds sitting in stores arguing with their parents over, yeah, you're gonna buy me $1,000 worth of makeup. Yeah, you will. And this fucking, all these retinols and shit like that. I was like, oh my God. Oh, those people. Now I gotta see if I can read this stuff. Okay, so door to door, already got that one. The perception, or the cats. Oh no, the this Kate Kid. Oh yeah, God, the amount of fucking cute kids on the internet being exploited, it is really becoming so bizarre to me. Like, I can't imagine being a kid in some of these houses. I can't imagine that every conversation you have with your parents, if you're really having it with the phone. You're just really looking at the phone while your parents are talking to you. Everything is being videotaped. Every reaction you have is being videotaped. Everything you say is being videotaped. And then they're putting it online because, I don't know, they're desperate for somebody to talk to and have likes, I guess, which, you know, I get it. I know it can be lonely. I like to get comments and talk to people too. But I don't know. I mean, I could go and start, like, the video of just showing Stella's foot, like her paw, 1,300 views, and the way that it went real fast, and then it just stops all the time. I don't know how they do that. They see it on the other one too, on TikTok. It'll just be going super fast, and it'll just stop, and then it will just shut down my account. It's like, oh, overload, shut it down, go away. And I just feel like that there's, I don't know, there's certain accounts that they definitely don't want people to hear what we have to say. But the energy is going to turn. I think we're in the energy turning. I think it's in the turn. But man, the amount of parents and people who just exploit their kids, and the amount of cute kids out there being exploited, it's like, oh my God, you don't need to go to Hollywood. You got parents exploiting you. Like, maybe they don't have to, you know, do favors for getting exploited, but still, it's like the energy, it's like so toxic. People are just so, like, sold out. People are just sold out. Just don't care. God, just give me attention. Just give me a Gucci. Let's go to happy hour. Let's get drunk. And as another thing too is people, so many people, when something triggers them, when something bothers them and they feel like they feel some kind of way, like you get your trigger and you feel something, where you should be going in and spending time in reflection and going into your trigger. That's what it's there for, is for you to go in so that you can expand your understanding of whatever it is that triggered you. But so many people, you know, they get mad at someone else for triggering them, or they distract themselves. And so many people will just, you know, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to deal with that. So go get drunk, go to happy hour, go to call a friend, find out what the drama is, get on some sort of gossip. So they just find some kind of distraction so that they don't have to face the things that they don't want to think about. But that not facing them creates an emotional stagnation. It's like an emotional immaturity. You need to be dealing with your stuff. You need to be more insightful. You need to be more, what is that called? More like deeper into reflection, going into meditation, going into a period or a place where you think about things, think about what you did, what other people do. It's a place where you think of things deeper. To me, I always think of it as being in a space of reflection, where you're just trying to look at it, you're trying to see the image, but see it from all different perspectives and understand yourself and understand your perspective, why you look at it the way you look at it, and if there's some kind of thing or reason why you're holding it into that, if that's still how you want to look at it, if you want to look at things differently, that's your time to, you know, move out of your programmed way of looking at things and develop an individual way of looking at things. So it's important to look at your triggers and to acknowledge what the things are, not distract yourself and, you know, go get drunk. I think such a common one is people just go get drunk. So they just make it go away for a while, and then the triggering incident goes away, and then maybe the person that triggered them, they just spend time talking bad about them to their other friends. So they spend time on gossip, so they get further away from their trigger. So then it's kind of like a seed is planted. So then you got to wait for another trigger to come along to promote some emotional thing. But people just keep distracting themselves and distracting themselves, when it's important to go in and pay attention to your triggers. So anyways, that's my advice. So, okay, the exploiting the kids, the door-to-door, paying the people to leave, the airplane miracle. The airplane miracle is a miracle. Excessive, oh yeah, because the wake-up thing over Miami seems extreme, like especially with having the aliens at the mall and stuff. But I really was thinking, is this some kind of a CIA thing? And then they got these kids to go and open this thing in the mall to get these creatures to go through, because it seems like that the creatures weren't coming out. I don't know. I wouldn't think they would be coming out of their spaceship or something. Like, it seems almost like they were trapped in the black box that they brought in, and that they were just letting them out of it, which also seems strange to me. And then it seems like, but then there's all this. So then they left, because there's footage of them on the streets. You can see them on the streets, like walking. You can see how they like change colors. And there was all these people who were leaving the mall said they were walking down the street. The things wanted out of the mall, and they kept watching the people. It's like they were watching the people, trying to understand. That they seemed confused, but I can't tell you how many people were so fucking scared. They were all running and screaming, and they were all scared. And I just can't imagine that I would do that. I can't imagine that I would run and scream if I saw aliens. I feel like I would walk over to them and, you know, interact with them. Like, go over and talk to them. Go over, I don't know that you could actually touch them, because it's like the same as like a ghost. It's like an apparition, kind of, because they aren't their full selves. I mean, you're yourself, but you are, but you don't, I don't know how, because it's like you're yourself, but there's a frequency kind of in the way. So you can't just like, they can't just show their regular selves and stuff. Like, they have to be able to pull into this frequency. Like, it's very different to get birthed into it than these people that try and enter it. And so I don't know, it's just different. It's like, I know that's why you can see him and not see him. I've known that about Bigfoot for a long time. When people are always looking for him, it's like, you're not going to find him. He can come and go as he pleases, because he can go in other dimensions. He can be seen or not be seen. And so these ones, like, I don't know. I don't think that they zapped out of their ship, came through these people's box, came into the mall, and then were lost in the mall, didn't know what to do, so walked back outside, looked up, saw their ship, and went flying back up to their ship. Like, I think that there's something more going on. Like, if these boys, like, I'll just, just in a little story, that if those boys were approached by some sort of agents and asked them to take this box to the mall and open it, and then they looked around, found a place, they opened it, and who knows what they got paid to do it, and then they open it or turn it on, and it starts spinning, and then these things start coming out of it, because there's a part to me that is to awaken people, like to get people to realize that there is a supernatural world all around you. And you have these people that freak out, and then you have these other people that want to go up and knock on giants' doors, and apparently, so I saw this yesterday. It was an interview, and it was two men that looked tiny next to a giant, and it said that that was an Afghanistan mountain giant talking to these two interviewers. And I couldn't they were speaking some kind of Middle Eastern language, and so I couldn't understand what they were saying. And they were talking with the guy who had a very deep voice, but he wasn't standing, like, nobody was standing up, so you couldn't really see his size, but you could tell he was giant, like, compared to the other people. But I was like, well, it could be a form of gigantism, maybe he's not like a real giant, but I don't know. They could have some good relationships with the giants. I know that there's giants living out in the mountains in Afghanistan, and I know that people that live in Afghanistan. Like, I had heard about that, and that's where that whole thing happened with that, those Green Berets, or that patrol, that our military patrol that got into the battle with the giant, and then the other military patrol had to go up, found all those guys dead, went into a big shootout with this big giant who was throwing spears at him, killed him, and then they had a helicopter come and take him away. And it was a huge military cover-up, just like they're trying to cover up this one in the mall. But for it to be like that, to me, it's like they're trying to wake people up. They're trying to get people to see. And when you see how scared people are of anything that they don't know, and so I don't know, but that's what I feel like that this whole thing is more of a part of the show, to get people to wake up and acknowledge this supernatural world. And I have seen some people, especially when they talk about these things moving, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, we live in a very supernatural, we don't live in a place like what we think. It's very supernatural. And that's why I keep trying to say, this place is supernatural. It's not what people think it is. It's very different than what people think it is. You got to let go of all these concepts of what you think Earth and living and being human is. It's very different than what most of these people think. But I think that is what a big thing about this Miami thing, and all of the stuff going on in their skies and stuff, is just to get people, because everybody's paying attention. Like, the story's huge. And to get people to start realizing about aliens and stuff. But I feel 100% like I wouldn't feel scared to go up and talk to them. Like, it's so weird how these people all just run and scream. But like, even in that show where Julia Roberts was out in the forest and the deers roll up and she was screaming and stuff, everybody's so scared of everything. So scared. Like, I don't know. I don't know how, people just got to realize it in themselves. Like, what are you scared of? What are you so scared of? Like, you think an alien's going to come out there and just all of a sudden they're going to pull up some kind of weapon, or maybe they're going to strangle you with their no hands. Like, they barely have their body here and they're going to come up and try and choke you out or something. And I don't know. When I did that I did a session with Daniel Scranton. It was like 2016 or something. It was when I very first started having so much spiritual stuff happening all the time. Because I was already spiritual before that. But it was when it just started being, I don't know, it just went into a new thing, a new phase or something. And so when I was doing that, and I was like doing tarot and QHHT and Reiki and all that stuff, like all these other people. And so when I got that one with Daniel Scranton, he said, or I was talking to the Arcturians, and they said that I was going to be, I'm an ambassador for, I don't remember how he said it, but I was thinking, wonder if that is because I would talk to the aliens. Like, I would talk to them like I was like what Corey Good did for the military. He would go, like, that's what they were looking for, the kids in the schools when we had to do those tests. They were trying to find these kids, I guess psychic kids, I'm not sure. But and then I told you that my guides told me not to do the test. They told me every year, they just say, just fill in the dots, don't do the test. And so I didn't do the test. And even when I would try and read the questions, it would just would make sense to me. It would just seem like a bunch of scribble. And so that's why I said, you can't, unless you're supposed to see something. Like when people go around, well, they are not listening. They won't listen. They don't understand. I keep showing them and they don't see it. It's like, because they're not supposed to. You can't see what you're not supposed to see. You'll see it when you're supposed to see it. And you can't force somebody to see what they can't see. And so Corey was used to do telepathy. And like I've said, I've been talking with telepathy with these beings my whole life, ever since I was little. And so I think that that's what they're looking for, or what they were looking for, was these. And I don't know if they knew that we were all going to be being born or something. I'm not sure why they started doing those tests and looking for us. But then they took a bunch of kids, and Corey said that they would make you practice being psychic all the time. And then they'd make you go in and talk to these beings. Like, you had to translate for the government. You had to sit and talk to the beings and then tell the government what the beings were saying. So you were used as a translator. And then so then they put him in that space program thing, because Corey Good has been gone back 25 years 3 times. And that's where I first started hearing about that with the med beds, was through Corey and David Wilcock. And so so anyways, in that session, and they said that I was going to be an ambassador. And then I was like, okay, so that must be an in-between talking, like, because other people who can't talk to aliens because they haven't developed their telepathy, so they don't know what to say. So there would be some of us who would be like a translator or go-between or something. There has to be some of us that would walk up to these creatures and try and creatures. I don't want to say creatures, even though to us they seem like creatures. They're just other beings. They're other living beings. And so go up to communicate with them and show people that it's safe. That's what it keeps seeming like. Well, they need some people like me to go up, because I wouldn't be scared. The ones you need to be scared of are the ones that will find you in the woods. Those ones. The ones that are here to eat you. Like, I would go, I mean, and just people go out camping in the woods all the time. It's like, well, you're going out there where you know, run across one of those ones that are there to eat you. And then also, like, even if it was a reptilian, even if a reptilian came to my door, knocked at the door, and they looked human for a minute, and then they turned into a reptilian. I felt like the ground was shaking for a second. Even if they turned into a reptilian, I don't think that I would be scared. The ones I would be scared of are the ones that are militant, the ones that will just kill you. But I think right now they're kind of more, I mean, I think that's part of the battles that go on in the tunnels and up in the air when there's all that lightning and stuff. I don't know if I even said about this lightning thing that I saw yesterday. I think I did a TikTok over it. This was so fucking trippy. So the one where I said the moon, and then there's a whole bunch of different people who got this footage of this face up by the moon. And then they came out another, you know, a few days later with all the neighbors. They're all up there looking at this thing. Everybody can see it, this face, and this looking down at them. And then, so there's all these different footage of this face up by the moon. And then this other girl who did this other one where there was all these faces. And she was saying about seeing that one face, but I could see 3 faces. And so I was like, man, there must be so I'm always outside now looking up at the sky, looking for these faces. There's so much overcast here. And so the so yeah, so there was a lightning storm. I don't know where it was. I swear to God, it seems like everything is like Ohio, Illinois, Florida. And well, right now there's about to be a huge storm. It's about to hit Florida, and then it's going to go up the East Coast, and it looks bad. The center of it is so, it looks bad. And so it's coming up the coastline, and it's going to hit into, I think it hits into New York on Tuesday. So there's going to be a really bad storm going over there, it looks like. And so wait a second, because I'm skipping around. So storm, the people, I don't remember what I was going to say. Something about the weather, because there's all that weather over there. There's more, I don't know. It just, the weather thing is chaos right now. With volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis and all that stuff. It's just going to keep going and going. But that wasn't what I was about to say. It was something else. It was about, I don't know. I said I'm all over the place. Maybe it'll come back to me. Oh, yeah. So, Michelle, okay, maybe I've got it written in here and I'll come across it. Because Michelle, so before Michelle, you know, her mom, his mom had come out and said that, no, his mom didn't come out. His mom died. And in order for him to, she left everything to Michael, not Michelle. So he was going to have to come out and claim to be Michael. Well, you know, that somehow slipped through. I don't know whatever happened about that, but that was a couple months ago. It's like, well, that didn't work, so we're going to come in harder. So now Michael's ex-boyfriend has come out and said that that's Michael was pretending and to be the first lady because it had to do with money and all this stuff. So anyways, you can't get away from this stuff. The truth is coming out. Truth is going to hit everybody. Wherever it is, if you have got lies that are hidden, they're going to come out. There's no hiding from the lies anymore. The lies are going to be exposed. And and also in Seattle, so in the one place they were closing, you know, shutting down these apartments, well, over here in Seattle, they went and shut down the highway again. And I saw, like, you see these young kids, and they're all like so excited, you know, and they're showing these people, and these are Boeing people and stuff, and they're going to show them, they're going to take down this you know, because they're standing up for the strip, and this is bullshit. And, oh, yeah, and then in Texas, I don't know, some mayor or some city council person or something had some ceremony. Instead of raising our flag, they raised that flag. I think they raised several of them, and then sang their song instead of doing ours. And there's some of this stuff I think is being shown so that we know these people are already committed treason. It's not like this is their first thing. This is like the part that shows like how treasonous these people are, that they have sold out to these other places, and they don't give a shit about us. They give a shit about whatever it is they sold out for, whatever they're trying to get. And man, this stuff on, it's not just Cat Williams. No, this other guy is on this podcast. The podcasts are spilling it, man. Is the one that did Cat Williams, that guy, he was like, man, he just came in talking, and he just didn't shut up for like 3 hours and just kept going and going and saying things. And now Cat's even going in more, like, with some of this stuff. And this other guy, too. So it's Will Smith's best friend or something. I thought it was his bodyguard or something. I don't know if it was a bodyguard that became a friend or something. I'm not sure. But that guy, and he wrote a book, and he spills it on both of them, on that whole family, the whole situation. And I guess Will wanted to come out as bisexual just recently, and she won't let him. Jada won't let him. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. There's so much stuff being spilled on them too. And that one, it is like he keeps going on this podcast. It's not just like he goes and does one. He keeps going back and telling more and more and more. And he just done one where it was like, because Jada made a big thing about it and said she was going to sue him. And so he said, you got 2 weeks. You sue me. If you don't sue me, more stuff's coming out. And so he went back on, gave more stuff. He gave her 2 more weeks. He said, come on, sue me. Because I'm ready to show all my, because both of them, they all keep saying, I got receipts. And, you know, we're going to expose it. So all this exposure is just coming in hot. Like, people who are not prepared to be exposed, like, it's going to be a humbling experience for people, especially if you were trying to live this big phony ass life, you know. And I guess apparently Jada has just lost, like it is like the same thing. Like, it's kind of like if you lose gratitude. So there's nothing that could, you know, she needed more and more and more and more and more to feel good. I mean, it was like she was relying on that, and it just became empty. And then people just go dark, and they go darker and darker because nothing satisfies them. That's the whole problem with the corn too. The people go darker and darker and darker into it. You know, you think, oh, I'm going to try this little fetishy thing. Let's try that. And it's like, oh, that was good. Get off on that. Like there was a big period of time where there was a lot of people who got into the choking, being choked out when you're having an orgasm. And then people were dying from it. Like, that was a whole movement there for a while. And so somebody goes and does stuff like that, and then they get off, and then they want more, and then that doesn't work. It's the same as any drug, and then that doesn't work, so they have to keep raising the bar and raising the bar. And that can be not just with perversion, it can be just with dissatisfaction. You got to find gratitude in your life. Yesterday I saw this beautiful video. It was so fucking cute, and it was out at a beach, and this dolphin was coming up to the shore, and he was playing with his dog. So he keeps coming up, and he would go up real quick, and he would start splashing this dog, and he'd swim out, and he kept doing this, playing this with his dog, and his dog starts playing with him. And then the dog starts swimming out, so they're out swimming together. The dolphin's pulling them around, and they were just out playing in the water. And I was like, oh my God, how beautiful. Like, how beautiful. And why are we so focused all the time on such bad things when there's so much beautiful stuff around us? There's so much beauty in nature. There's so much satisfaction in the supernatural and the magic of this world. And we just sit here focusing on this pain and suffering and, just ignore this beautiful, like, two different species are out there playing. Like, I see these things all the time. It's like there's magic here. And people just, I don't know. But so Seattle, they cut off they shut the 5 down. They blocked it off, shut it down, and they just keep doing these disturbances in the cities, which is all going to backfire. All these things are going to turn into violence. There's so much violence that just keeps popping up here and there. It's just going to keep going that way. And the people, it's like, well, if they don't have it inside of them that's telling them, it's because they're supposed to go through it. They're supposed to go through that, whatever they're going to go through. Is, to me, it's like, oh my God. Like, oh, people are just playing with fire, playing with fire. It's not even playing with fire. It's not even playing with matches. It's like they're playing with fucking bombs. It's like they don't have any awareness of what's happening in the world or something. This is a time of change. And, I've seen some different footage of this. Somebody was doing like, why are the birds doing this? There's a whole bunch of weird bird things. Like over in Houston, it was like the Birds movie, all these black crows everywhere. There was another one where all these birds were flying up in the air and they were moving all together, like a whole bunch of flocks. Like the whole sky was full of flocks of birds all going. And, just one after another. And there's something about that with the pole shift. There's something about, I don't even remember, but it's like follow the birds. Like that's where we should be going, is following the birds during this migration to safe lands, to where we'll find safety. So it was all that. Then I saw another one, and these birds were up there doing these shapes and all of this. It was like developing like these pictures and stuff up in the sky, which was like the one that I had seen over here when I went to the grocery store a few weeks ago, and I said I ran across this most trippiest thing with the birds. It was like beautiful. It was so fascinating. It was like in the way that they were moving and the way that the colors were coming off their wings, and it was cool as shit looking. Man, I felt like, I was like a chance in a million to get a run across that. But I've seen these things in the footage. But the thing I had seen about it was that the birds were going to really be showing something about the magnetic pole and the shift that the birds are feeling. And so they're, I don't know. You'd have to go look it up to get exactly how I took it. Was that the birds it shows significant way about the pole shifting, about the shift going on. So I don't know, but there is a lot of weird shit with the birds. And so the Florida tornado, what is that? Oh, the judge. Oh yeah, that judge getting attacked. Like that guy just jumping like some fucking across. Like, I'm telling you, just the weirdest stuff is going to keep happening and keep happening. And now that jail in Mississippi, I bet you this isn't going to be the first one. This is just going to be one. But I think they had 215 people the other day, but I think they're still digging. I swear to God, I saw a thing yesterday that there's more, that they found more. And the one woman who's been looking for her son and he's out there, and they kept saying they didn't know where he was. Like, ugh. Man, it is going to be, because it's not going to just be like, oh, well, yeah, over there in Mississippi. No, this is going to bleed out. This is going to be like all over the place. This has been going on. I bet you that there was different, because you just don't know the hierarchy. You don't know where the messages come from, but they're all being led by a certain group, like this cabal crew. I don't know what, there's a darkness that is in control of what they do. Like if they, the cleaners or whatever, when they, like, you think about an actor going out or a politician, let's go a politician, going out and getting drunk and killing somebody, and then the cleaners come in and clean it up and go set up a different scenario so it looks like something else happened, like put them in a car, make it look, I mean, they just do whatever they want to do. And so the people who hire those cleaners, like they're in control of everything. It was a movie I saw a long, long time ago, and I think it had Matt Damon in it, and it had something about, there was a group of men who were the ones who were making all the decisions, and that they would, it was like that they would watch you, they would make the decisions, they would come out of the, I don't even remember, but I know when I saw this movie, I just have like these flashes of it, but when I saw this movie, I was like, oh, there's really these people who are in charge like this. It really is this controlled. Just like when I saw The Name of the Rose, that's all it took for me. I saw The Name of the Rose, whatever, however long ago that was, and I was like, oh, so they just made the Bible up. They just changed the books. Like, I knew it. I knew that was some bullshit. And so I knew that, and it just trips me out how there's like so many people who are just like, just figuring it out, that the Bible was lies and stuff. And you got whole tons of people now, because the 1500 Geneva Bible or whatever is what it says, and then the King James version. So all these people are like putting it together about the control and manipulation by like the kings and stuff, and so that they changed the book in order to control the people. And so, you know, that's definitely what they did. They created the fucking book to control the people. And you know, and I think it's based on a bunch of different writings and stuff, but still it's manipulated to control the people. And then how much in the division, in the hierarchy, and the I'm better than you, it created. Because all these people think they're better than other people. And even in that documentary I watched the other day, you know, because these, you know, the pervy guy was religious, his wife was religious, and then it's always like, well, so do you think that you have no sin? You think you don't have sin? It's like they make excuses for their own sin, and they think just because they claim Jesus's name that they can continue doing it. Apparently, you can do whatever you want, just keep doing it, and just, you know, remind Jesus you're there, and he's like okay with it because you said his name, so you can do whatever the fuck you want. And it's weird. It's so weird. As even when I was at my mom's house that one day, and when we were talking, and the day that she was telling me she was going to be raptured and stuff, and make sure that I knew it was not spaceships that she left on. And we were having that whole discussion, and those doves that were going across the thing, and that guy who sped up and was going to hit him. And I said, I think that's the kind of guy that's going to get raptured. And, you know, and she starts saying, oh, so you think you have no sin? You think you don't have sin? Are you judging other sinners? It's like, what? What in the Holy Grail have they confused your brain? What, like, it's twisted. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I think that there's no sin because I think that you should take responsibility for your actions and not follow impulses. Like, yeah, it's one thing if you are sinning out of ignorance because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But when you're making a blatant choice, and then you just are like, well, you know, Jesus, I got Jesus here. So as long as you're on Jesus' team, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And you can hate your neighbor. Isn't that a part of the thing? You're supposed to love your neighbor, but you can hate them because they're, you know, something different than you. They're not a Christian. They're something different. So I don't know. It's just, to me, the Bible has got people's minds so fucking twisted. Religion has got people's minds so fucking twisted. And I don't even know if that is part of, because you got these people freaking out over Miami, and these people freaking out, like some of them are like, oh, it's the Nephilim. Like the religious people are freaking out. It's the Nephilim. And it's like, the Nephilim are not going to be like see-through people. The Nephilim would be like giants. Like actual giants, like living giant, just like the one that's being interviewed in Afghanistan. And there was a guy who was putting out a video about that, and he said that on that video, it said, it had a little disclaimer, something like, this is CGI or something like that. And he said, you got to watch out right now because they're really trying to confuse people, because they're putting out videos of real things because they can't hide it anymore. This stuff is coming out. There's no hiding it. You know, I mean, this could very well be a giant who is friends with this community who is there talking about what's going on. And that's what this guy is saying. This is a real giant being interviewed, and real aliens and all this stuff that's really happening. But then they start trying to confuse it, to confuse people, because there's so much real stuff coming out. They can't hide it anymore. So then they're just going to flood with more stuff, more CGI, more fake stuff, and then keep saying that everything's CGI to get people to be so confused. But that's where you got to practice your discernment. Like, I think you can look at things and see, you know, like I can look at something, like a lot of spaceship ones, I can look at them and go like, I don't know. I know the spaceships are up there, but I don't know. You know, I don't even know what the deal is with these faces up there. I don't know if it's some sort of hologram, if they're doing this. Oh, yeah, because the thing I didn't tell. So the faces, so I'd seen those. So then over somewhere, Ohio or someplace, they were having this big lightning storm. This was so trippy looking because the guy is at his house, and so he's showing this lightning going outside of his yard, across the street, like, so you can see this lightning. But what is trippy is, so the lightning goes and it looks like there's a big screen, and then it looks like a shadow figure on the other side of this screen. So like when, you know, like those puppet shows, how they use the light and then it will come in, and something about the light, how they do the puppet show. And so I think that they do their hands and stuff and do use the light and make the puppets on the wall. It reminded me of that. So the lightning, when it looked like there was this wall thing, but the thing on the other side of it, oh my gosh, it is like a giant body, where I was like, oh my gosh, so the giant body, does that go with the head? But it would need a way bigger body to go with the head the one head I've seen. I mean, that head would, I mean, it would be a giant body. This looked like a body that would be, I don't know, I wouldn't say as tall as a high rise, but definitely, man, I'm trying to picture it compared to the houses. I would say if you put two houses on top of each other, two-story houses on top of each other, maybe another house on top of that, that's about how tall it was. It was very huge. And so the lightning goes and you see it, and it looks like it's walking. And then the guys, you know, that's filming, he's like, everybody starts screaming. And then they're like, oh my God, what was that? What was that? And then it does it again, and it seems like it's either another one or it's jumped back over here, and then you see it even bigger. So I don't know. It's just some of this stuff to me is like, everything is being revealed, and I don't know how much of the stuff is being revealed naturally and how much of the stuff is being pushed by like white hats or some group that's trying to get people to wake up, because we're moving into a supernatural world. You can't go around. I mean, we've been living in a supernatural world. People have had themselves cut off from it, but you can't go running and screaming from all this stuff. You can't be scared of the world that you're in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to be in that world. So I don't know if a lot of the people who are just so scared and can't get over it, they're going to just leave the game, because the game is changing into, you're going to be interacting with things that you think of as creatures and monsters and stuff. You can't be caught up in just because something looks scary to you that means that it's scary. Like, you got to get into the I mean, like even in the sea creatures, some of those can look super scary, but I don't know, maybe they aren't all scary. I don't want to go down there and mess with them. I could handle messing with the ones on land. Like, I don't know. I think that even, that there is no death. Even if you were to die because you went up and talked to them, that you would just leave the game. You would just be out of the game. So it would just be, you would be gone. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it all keeps going. We'll see how it all keeps going. Uh, um, but it's going to keep going. It's going to get wilder and crazier. And then tonight, who knows? Maybe tonight is going to be where Alexa said we're going to go into shutdown for a couple weeks. And so I don't know. We'll see. There's more stuff with the money thing. So everything is going in this direction. All this stuff is blowing up with government. I mean, everything is going in the direction. Everything is collapsing. And it's so wild how there's still so many people who think like, I don't know, somehow we're going to hold on to this world and we're just going to keep going in this world. It's like, no, this whole world is going to collapse. Our landscape, everything is going to collapse. We're going to start over. It's like a starting over. It's a begin again. And it's going to be like a do-over. Because all of the things that we would have wanted in this life was about learning and stuff, but the things we would have wanted, then we're going to be able to have in the next one, like our health, our freedom. Those things are coming. It's coming right around the corner. So anyways, I guess I'll get going. I did get everything off of there. There's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff going on right now. Like it's just one thing after another. And it's going to keep going. Some places are going to be super intense. It seems like right now the East Coast is going to get hit, but I'm sure there's going to be a storm that's going to cover on the West Coast. And then plus there can be a fucking earthquake that just goes at any time. Anything can go at any time. So you just got to stay on your toes and just keep in mind that this is a reset. This is a clearing the stage. And those of us who, you know, run around and stay on top of it, we're going to be the ones who rebuild this place. We're the ones that started over. We're the ones who go in and remake it into a world that we want instead of a world that we don't want. But we are all the creators of it. So it is our energy that is going to be the creating this new thing, this new world. But I would say people really got to start getting into your minds that aliens, what you consider to be aliens, these multidimensional beings, these, which most of them are way, way more spiritual than us. They're way, way older than us. In this concept, like if you leave out of this body and you go see who you really are, like, I mean, you're probably way, way older than you think. You probably have experienced way more things than you can even imagine. So I would just say, start getting it into your mind of this, the galactic part of you, the supernatural part of you, the eternal part of you, and realize that all these other beings, no matter what they look like, even if they look scary to you, that is the way that they look to survive in their environment. And then not everybody thinks that the same things looks good. I mean, I'm sure there's some beings that think humanoids are strange looking and they like aquatic, and there's insectoids. There's all these different kinds of things. So you just got to get it into your mind. That doesn't mean they're a monster or mindless or creature because they look different, or they look like a giant bug, or they look like a giant bird, or they look like a lion or whatever. There's different things. Because there's all sorts of different ones. Like octopuses are, to me, octopuses are aliens. Like I just saw, this was trippy too, because this was 2 bees and this person was just filming it. So there was a Fanta, it was a bottle of Fanta and it had a screw-on lid. And it was sitting there, and 2 bees, one on each side, started working together and unscrewing the thing. They unscrewed it, tipped it off so that they could get into the fluid. Like, and people think like these things don't have intelligence. It's like, you guys, I think we're the ones that are lacking. We're lacking not just intelligence. I mean, we're just programmed. We're lacking compassion. We're lacking this connection to working together and to the magic of this place. So anyways, we have a lot to still go through. We have a lot to still learn and a lot to still expand. And we got to just keep passing the word around. Like there's nothing to fear. Don't be scared. Just because beings aren't from here doesn't mean that they're just scary. But we also, we're waking up to the fact that we've been controlled by these scary ones. And so, but the scary ones, they're getting in trouble. Like they are they're being taken down. And so, we should have been scared of them for a long time, but see, we didn't have any awareness of them, so we weren't scared. But the things that we needed to be scared of, we didn't have awareness of. So anyways, it's all about this awareness expansion, but also you've got to get yourself into a placing yourself where you control your feelings, your impulses, your emotions and stuff. So it's all that evolution of self, to the things that scare you, to rationalize them, to get yourself into a position where you're not just scared of everything. And to remember, like, there's all these things that we needed to be scared of, we didn't have any clue about. And we're just out living our lives. So there's an aspect to learning how to live your life and not just be focused on every fucking little scary thing. I was thinking about I have 2 daughters. I have 4 daughters, but 2 of them have kids, and the older 2. And I was thinking it's so funny because they're so completely different from each other. Because one of them is like a germ phobe and one of them isn't at all. And so the difference in how their kids are raised, like one is like, oh, what do you got right there? Don't do that. Don't put that in your mouth. And the other one is just like, isn't worried about all those things, which, I know, that's build up immunity and stuff. It's not going to hurt you. My other daughter, she just has germ phobe things. But that is where you get super focused on something like a germ is so scary. These germs are going to get me. And it's like, you got to get out of that, focus on this little thing that you can't see is going to get you. Have an awareness of it, like, oh, okay, so there's germs. We pass around germs. Germs can make you sick. So if you're around someone sick, make sure and wash your hands, probably wash your face. If you're walking around someone's house and they've been coughing and sneezing all day, and then you're getting all their germs into your face and stuff, and then you're rubbing your eye and stuff, so you're probably better off to wash your hands and your face if you're around somebody who's sick all the time. And then, anyways, I should be getting going. So we'll see what's next. I mean, there's no telling. Like, I'm sure this weekend is going to be action-packed. So, here she goes on the move. Let's see, Crystal. What's she going to do? What's she going to do? Oh, wait a second and see. What are you doing? What do you want? You want to go outside? Sometimes I'll say that, and then she'll ring the bell. I don't know what she wants. She probably wants outside. I don't know why she's not ringing it. Sorry, Crystal. Anyways, okay. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow if there's power, I guess. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe today there'll be so much stuff that'll go on today. I'll come back and I'll do another video. Or I may just keep notes again. So anyways, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and have a good day and stay safe. And I'll talk to you later.